Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester. Panhandle Outdoors, your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors. I'm Winston Chester. Glad to hear this Tuesday morning. Got a big show lined up, but first our weather brought to us by Haney Technical Center. High today only 86 and low 77. Water temperature is creeping back up. It's around 85 this morning, so warming up just a little bit. 2 degrees hotter than it was about a week ago. So be aware of that. I talked about some muddy water and all. Keep in mind that muddy water doesn't go that far out, so it's been some clear water. In fact, we got a good report. A lot of kings being caught Sunday afternoon. They were not big kings. They were less than 20 pounds, about 15 pounders, which is sort of odd this time of year because they should have been fattening up from all summer and all. But some nice kings were caught and are pretty regular by several different people. So that was a good sign. Take a look at our river readings. We talked about this. All the rain we had last week. The Apalachicola Brunstown is still only a 2.4. It just didn't get a lot of rain up in South Georgia and around Atlanta like we got here on the coast. Choctawhatchee, Caryville, it's all the way up to 8 foot, and it doesn't look that high, but it's going to start dropping out. But Choctawhatchee is at 8 foot, 8.1 to be exact, and it's starting to drop out just a little bit this morning, and should continue a little bit of a drop. Okay, the tide chart brought to us by Kent Forest Lawn and Funeral Home and Cemetery. Today is August the 16th, and we're looking at good tides today. A high tide at 9:17 this morning, and a low tide at 7:19. Later on tonight. Okay, so we've got a good tide there, and it's really a good day to go fishing. Just take off fishing and go somewhere. All right. Marine forecast southeast at about 5 to 10, which is a seasonal run this time of year. Let's take a break. We'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. Let's start on some pictures, and I like to have a mixture. We'll get a lot of local people catching some big fish and a lot of fish and all that. Every now and then I like to throw in like a little historical picture. This picture here I want to show it. This is from Jim Cox down there in Port St. Joe. Jim, I've known him a long time. Good man right there. But this is the old Coast Guard station at Cape San Blas. Oops, I wanted to for you folks. This is the old black and white picture. This is washed away now. It's not there. I got another picture of it too. This is coming in from the angle, looking from east to west. The Coast Guard, that used to be the Coast Guard barracks when they had a station down there. And of course, obviously it washed away. It didn't take many storms to wash it away, but it did. So anyway, thank you, Jim Cox, for sending us those pictures. That's a good fishing spot, excellent fishing spot. All right, how about old Evan Zackrell? I beat up on my dad today. I had 11 pounds and he had 6, and I lost an 8-pounder. Check out, that's some nice fish right there. Good job there, Evan. Evan's a good fisherman. All right. Next picture here, David Southall. We're at the jetties with Greg Gladden. That's a second redfish, okay? Nice redfish there, caught and released. Beautiful day out there. Good job there, nice redfish. I just want to give you the red tide status. This sort of snuck up on us last year, but looking around, this is through last week now. Okaloosa County not present. Bay County not present. All the way. You see all the points they check it at Tyndall, Old Spanish Annie, Davis Point, Redfish Point, Elwood Beach. That's out there at the beach. All those not present. Gulf County not present at Cape San Blas. So that's a good sign right there. I just want to keep you informed of the red tide. Okay, we'll skip this one. I'll talk about this one later. Okay, this is the Emerald Coast Redfish tournaments. Now, I just wanted to show you, we just had one in Navarre. Emerald Coast Redfish will be in Port St. Joe on September the 10th. And also, October 1st will be the last one here in Panama City over at East Bay at Tyndall. And the championship's November the 12th. That's the Emerald Coast Redfish Series. Now, I got one more picture to show you because this is, let me go back to it. Let's see, I got that one. Here's the standings. This is interesting, redfish standings. This is the points through July. On the far right is who's in first place. Steve Ward, Michael Hawkins in first place, 480. I'm not going to go all the way through it, but you can see all the different guys fishing. This is a fun event now. Fred Myers, he and his son Carter, they're in 11th place. Fred don't get to fish it a lot, and Josh Locke, Neil, all these guys, and they get points for each tournament. Mark and Michael Cowart, they're down there, they're in 17th, but they're like 50 teams in this, so that's good showing, okay? Now, the last picture I wanted to show you, Let me get back to it. Let's see. Right here. Look here. Phil Chester. 4th Sunday in a row. On this week, Brandon set the hook. Thanks, Dad, for your God service. All right. I got to get Phil Chester to come on the show catching redfish. Seriously, you start trying to do that in a row, I'm going to tell him he'll catch one on the 5th Sunday in a row. I'm going to let him come on the show. So we're going to really put the pressure on him. All right. Now, don't forget, this Friday night, the National Wild Turkey Federation banquet. We've got the poster right here. You can see it on the screen there. It's going to be at 6 o'clock down at First United Methodist Church. And people have asked me about directions. Go all the way down 77 on Pastor Mall, all the way down 77. It sort of dead ends in a Business 98. You take a left before you go into the cove. You take a left there. It's almost immediately right. Big church there. Been there a long time. The First Methodist Church. Call Ken Paramore 832-0718. Okay, 832-0718. I know since they're on the show, a lot of people have got some tickets and all. So I will be there, and we'd love to see some of you folks there. It'll be a good one. All right. Also, the season dates. We went over that last week. I just want to touch base with you again on them because we're talking about the crossbow season is going to sneak up on us now, October 22nd. Also, the migratory bird, here's what's interesting. The first phase, the Canada goose, is right around the corner at September the 3rd. Folks, you're only talking about a couple of weeks. Canada goose, and it's fascinating. I have a friend that goes to church. In fact, he runs the Audubon Society. We're talking about, he talks from one end and, about how many birds and all. Yes, we have some birds in peril. It's hard to find them, like a whippoorwill. They're getting harder and harder to find. And yeah, the Canadian geese are all over the place. It's interesting how that works out. But obviously, we got a liberal season on them, September 3rd through 25th, then November 17th through 27th, and then December 1st, all the month of December and all the month of January to hunt Canadian geese. Okay. Dove season, though, everybody wants to know about dove season, September the 24th. I don't know what the football schedule is today. I'm sure it'll be a good ball game on September 24th, but keep in mind the dove season opens September the 24th. Okay, and and we'll keep you posted on all of them. I just like, if you're like me, I like to circle those little dates, and I a little calendar on the refrigerator, and you keep up all your appointments and all. But I've always done that. I've always circled out little hunting season dates and all. And Gail just looks at me and just shakes her head. She said, well, am I going with you? I said, honey, if you want to. And she laughs, well, I won't go this time. But it's just a family joke we always have. All right, let's take a break. We'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. Always keep smiling. You have a great day today. But before we get into this little video, I just got this text right before the break from my daughter, Wendy, who has just got a teaching job up there in Tennessee where they moved to. And she sent me a picture of her classroom. Check this out. This is my classroom. Love you all. Have a great day. Today's Mason's first day of school. He's excited. So anyway, she has full box. She teaches history, so she has my book up there. So some folks in Tennessee are going to learn a little bit about the history of the Florida Panhandle there. So I'm glad she's got. I'm going to talk to her after the show today. But anyway, that's what I thought you might want to know that. All right. Now we're going to talk about. Let's jump into boating adventures. Boating has always been so important to people, and a lot of people just pleasure boat. Go out to Shell Island for the weekend, just ride around in circles and stuff like that, which is fine. People get on the pontoon boats in the lakes and ride around, go to different places, sit around, and some people fish off boats. So I'm one of the latter part. We like to fish off our boat. So what we're going to do, and by the way, I think I've told you I got a new boat ordered. It just hasn't come in yet. I'll keep you all informed on it. I'm all excited about it. It's my retirement boat, so we're looking forward to it. But what I was going to get back, I was thinking of this past week at the improvements for fishermen, just on not just fishing tackle, but just on the boats themselves. And of course, the first thing you think of going way back to the trolling motors. At first it used to be a hand crank trolling motor. If you remember, I've got one of those antique hand crank trolling motors. Then it became electronic, battery powered. So trolling motor has been a big improvement. And then the electronics, I just make one category of electronics. There's so many electronics with the GPSs and seeing the radar screen and all. It's helped fishermen out tremendously, and not just finding the spot, but getting a picture of the radar shot underneath the ledges and all kind of stuff. Electronics has been phenomenal on boats. And the third, and I think it may be one of the most important, and this is more of a specific one, has been the power pole. I remember when I first saw the first power pole, I don't know how many years ago, how long it had been out, but I saw it down closer to No Name Lounge. They had a little Emerald Coast, some redfish club had a little Saturday tournament, and I went down there to film it. And a guy had a power pole, and I looked at that thing, and he had a little single power pole. For those who don't know, it's like this is a boat. It's just one of those things. It just flips over and just hydraulically goes down into the sand and anchors it down, just like that. And I looked at that thing, I said, that's crazy. And I was curious about it. To make a long story short, they started developing it, and they caught on like crazy with fishermen, and it's an amazing gadget. So when I down at ICAST, ran Fred Myers. They're one of Fred Myers' sponsors, and I got to talk. Two guys were there, twin brothers, around my age, might have been a little bit younger than me, but one of the guys was the very first one to ever have a power pole. They were redfish tournament fishermen, so when the power pole company came out, they wanted to get some fishermen to try it out, and these two brothers, they fished together, twin brothers, like I said, and they were good fishermen, and they were fishing somewhere around St. John's, but they tried it out. At first they didn't like it. Then the next tournament they went on, the tide caught them moving out, and they said, man, I wish I had that power pole. So from then on, they were hooked on it. And the rest of the story is history. But it's fascinating how the power pole has added so much to a fisherman, because really they're good for the environment. You know, people like me and a lot of us, we just throw the anchor out and sometimes drag it over the grass and stuff like that, which is, at first we never thought anything about it, but now, you know, you don't want to tear up that grass. And the second thing, most people now are putting two on there, and they're having different sizes, and they go different depths and all. So anyway, that being said, I said, Fred, let's do a little interview at a power pole booth and show the folks, in case some people don't know really how they work and all, because it's really a cool invention. So let's run this video while we're down there when Fred's with us. Hey, I just met this guy down here with power pole. Yeah. Fred Myers.
Good morning, Coach. How you doing? Good to see you.
Hi, buddy. Good to see you.
Long ways from Panama City. Huh?
I know. But you're one of the representatives down here, and I want you to tell us, just go right into what's going on.
Well, we're down here in Orlando at the 2016 ICAST and Power Pole booth, and of course, Power Pole's been a tremendous sponsor for me, and just changed the way I fish, and just changed the way my boat's handled, especially in shallow water. For shallow water anchoring, there's no other device that compares against, as far as functionality and able to use and fish the amount of fish on the flat that's all there, and not run up any amount of the flat that you want to fish. It's changed the way that I fish.
It's amazing.
And so what Power Pole's got here is they've got two 8-foot blades, power poles, and these blades are 8 foot of water or less, and they make a 10, an 8, 6, and then they make a smaller one that's a 4-footer. But they've changed the way all this stuff works. You have a pump now that controls these, and basically it's very simple. You double click, and then these pumps will go up, pull these blades up, and then you double click, and they'll go down, and what they'll do is they'll sense the bottom, and when they stop the boat, and basically that's the back of your boat. And so what it's done is it's just anchored you, and it will keep you from twisting or turning away from the fish. And ideally, you got two guys standing on the front. You cast, you hook a fish, you deploy your power poles, and what happens is it stops your boat. You fish the fish, you land the fish, you have much more control of your fish. And then what is most important is you catch that fish where that fish is living, basically. So when you stop your boat, you have more room to fish in front of you instead of drifting the whole time you got that fish hooked up. But the main thing about the controls here is you got a dash switch and then switch you carry with you. And basically you double click this up, it's going to raise them all the way up, start fishing again. And then you go drift another 50 yards or whatever, you double click down, they come right back down, and you fish the fish that you're fishing. What's important here is on these dash switches and stuff, you can control the speed as well. So now you'll see that they're a little bit slower, and that's if you want to go down real quiet, real slow. And even then, when I'm drifting down the flat, I can stop this, and I'll leave them at like this position and drift. Yeah. And then I don't have as much of a motion swing when I'm fishing down the flat. But then I can change them. They got a medium speed here now, so it's a little bit faster, and it's not quite as fast. So those, I'll stop, and then you'll see I'll stop at midway. Now this is real fast. Now, also, Power Poles come out with an iPhone app and an Android app. All those speeds are interchangeable, so you can change it and set it up however you want. I can also deploy it from my iPhone.
Oh, cool.
The best thing really about Power Pole is if there's any kind of issue with the Power Pole, you can put your phone up to the pump, diagnose it with your phone, and Power Pole will load into your phone and extract that and tell you exactly what's wrong, if there's any parts needed or anything as far as mechanically or electronically to that motor. They'll diagnose it right away and tell you what part to send back, or they can reprogram that pump from your phone to set it back up. And the thing about it is Power Poles come out with new pumps. Like when you put a pump, it's kind of like a TV remote. You put clothes in front of it or whatever, or you put a blanket, that signal won't get to the TV. Well, when you put these pumps in a boat, sometimes it diminishes the signal. These new pumps, very, very strong signal, all that stuff. So it's changed the way a boat handles it. If I had a choice between a trolling motor or Power Poles, I'd definitely get rid of the trolling motor. It's that much necessity.
That's awesome, man. Good job, man.
Thanks, Coach.
All right.
And that's it.
Okay, welcome back, folks. Hope you enjoyed that. Like I say, they're good sponsors of Fred, and I'm sold on the product. But at first, I thought, what in the world is that? I think a lot of y'all thought the same thing when you saw it too. So anyway, let's look at our fishing game times today. Brought to us by Barron's Barbecue Shrimp Marinade, 11:17 to 1:17, right in the middle of the day, just like yesterday. Now this is interesting. A lot of things going on. And what's happened? The tide has started moving out, and a lot of activity. And tonight, 11:43. To 1:43. Don't forget, scallop season opens up not this weekend, but next Monday. And I'm certainly Gail and I are going to be out there. If the Lord's willing and the weather's all right, we're going to get out there and just scout it out. But I'm going to take my poke pole. I may not see many scallops. I hope to get some mullet or flounder or something. Or I'm going to get out in the water and just splash around for a couple of hours. I promise you I'm going to do that. And so hope to see some of y'all out there next Monday, okay? Also, come down that way, Mexico Beach Artificial Reef Association, their tournament now, August the 27th. We'll try to get Ron Childs and some of those guys to come up here and be on the show and talk about that tournament. That's a really good project they have down there going on at Mexico Beach Artificial Reef Association Big King Mackerel Tournament. Got a couple of more things I want to show you. Make sure you pick this up, your hunting regulations. We're getting ready to go into hunting season, and what I did last night, I took a couple of pictures just to show you. I wanted a couple things I want to highlight and out of the magazine because it's really, here it is right here. Of course, this is edition right here. I just want a couple of pages I took last night. One thing, I thought this is interesting, and it may not show up real good, but because I see a lot of people do this, put underneath the power lines, we put up your deer stands. You can ride from here to Weewall, or here to Chipley, or here to Quincy, and somewhere, if you go past a power line, a lot of times you're going to see a big old deer stand there, and it's really illegal to put it right up on those wires. So make sure if you do that, you get clearance from the power company because they have the right of way in that area there. So be aware of that. That was from Duke Energy, but I'm sure Gulf Coast Electric Co-op and all these others will say the same thing. So I really hadn't paid much attention, but I've seen right smack dab in the middle before. Okay, of course, here's the hunting zones, start down the bottom of the state. And when I first saw this years ago, I said, why in the world wouldn't you go from top to bottom instead of bottom to top doing the alphabet? But anyway, they did it that way. So we're Zone D, and that's our whole area here, of course. And we're looking at it now. Remember how we broke it up a couple of years ago? Deer Management Unit 1, Deer Management Unit 2. Basically, you see where it just goes along Interstate 10. And that's the dividing line north of there. So you can see our viewing, this is most of our viewing area. In fact, that's all of our viewing area right there. So we sort of have 2 units. And they've done this all over the state, even in other areas they've done it. And this is sort of a hard shot to see, but folks, we have like 37 different game management areas. And you go look at them, it's amazing we have this many. It just tickles me to see that many in here, okay? And what you do in the magazine, you look them up. I just pulled out a couple, Chipotle River, Choctawhatchee River, The Eastern Finer Creek has 41,000. It's in Bay County, Jackson County, Washington County. And those little symbols tell you all the things you can do. And it's just not fishing and hunting. You can go hiking in it. It's accessible to wheelchairs. You can go wildlife viewing, all kind of stuff you can do in these. But look at Eglin, 200 at the bottom, 250,000 acres. 250,000 acres, that's 250,000 acres, okay? And of course they do have a little page on alligator hunting, and of course we are the hunting capital of the world when it comes to alligator hunting. And also the last page got special opportunity hunts and youth and family hunts and just things like that. So go ahead and pick this up locally. All the game stores have C&G, Blue Water. Used to get a lot of mine at the post office and places like that. But anyway, or tax collector's office. So anyway, and all the dates are in here. The dates sort of hard to see and all, but it's a good magazine. It's good to keep this around. I keep mine in the truck and to keep up on dates and all that. So now, with that being said, it is your responsibility, my responsibility to know the laws. You know, when we had Travis on here before and Ken Paramore said the same thing. You know, ignorant, oh, I didn't know that. Ignorance of the law is an excuse for no one. If you're feeding your animals and all, you need to be feeding them now. You got to feed them a certain amount of time before you hunt over them. So a lot of people have understood that. They go to year-round feeding, which is not a bad idea. And if you can afford it, but planting and all that, we've talked about managing the soil and different things like that is so important. So when it comes to hunting and all, you got to know the rules. Just as you got to know the rules in the fishing world, as far as what size and everything. And it's just the burden and responsibility is on us as an outdoorsman, and we always remember that. And we can't just say, "Oh, well, I didn't know that." So anyway, got to start wrapping things up. Got a big show lined for tomorrow. Really enjoy doing it, and I appreciate the feedback. You folks email me, I get text and all, and I appreciate the phone calls. If I don't answer them, I promise I'll answer them sooner or later. If you fall through the crack, please send it again, okay? Thank you all for watching Panhandle Outdoors. Hope you have a great day today. You smile, do something good for your fellow man, and God bless.
Thanks for joining us for Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester. Panhandle Outdoors features hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.